Hi, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heine, physical
And
therapist.
together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
It's always our opinion, Brad. Today we're going to talk about the best and the worst walkers to use. This is a good one if you use a walker yourself, or maybe your mom or your dad or your grandma or your grandpa,
Right.
great grandpa. So we're going to go over it, and actually it's a little bit deceiving in that the fact that any walker that you have can be the worst walker to use, or it can be the best depending on your situation.
Exactly, Bob.
So we're going to go right down, and these are the three most common walkers, I would say. And we're going to start off with what we call the standard walker, and that's a walker with no wheels. It just has four legs
Right.
on it. And this walker is probably the walker we use the least, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Believe it or
years
not.
ago was probably the one of the main walkers because they didn't have the other ones yet.
Right. But the thing is, with the biggest concern that people have with a walker with wheels on the front is, what do they say? They're afraid it's going to wheel away on them.
Yep, it's gonna run away. I can't control it.
But it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, so where I would use a standard walker like this is if a person basically was just going to use it for transfers. Let's say all they do is they get out of their chair, they want something solid to hold on to, and then they're going to turn and get back into another chair, a wheelchair.
Right.
This would be a great one for it.
Right, from bed to wheelchair, wheelchair to bed after a surgery.
The other instance, Brad, you mentioned was non-weight bearing.
Right, let's say you broke your ankle or you got a problem in one leg that you cannot put any weight on and you're weak and you want a good solid surface, and some people, particularly some older people, they just don't feel, no matter what, they just don't want that wheel on it.
Right.
And they need that, and then you're not going to go real fast with one of these walkers, but sometimes you don't need to, and that's okay.
And what is the concern, Brad, with this? Every time you pick it up, you're at that, you want to show how I mean, every time he picks it up and he's on one foot,
Right.
that's where he can lose his balance.
Right, you're on one leg and it's wobbly, and yeah.
So that's why we probably use the front wheel walker more than anything. Do you want to grab that, Brad?
Yeah.
Bring that on in.
They're identical with the exception of, go
You
ahead.
got the
go
wheels
ahead.
on the front,
Right,
and then on the back, you're generally going to find tennis balls or gliders, or recently we've been taking those little furniture gliders that you put on.
Felt pads?
Felt pads
Mhm.
that you put on the bottom of a chair. We actually did a video on this, Brad.
Sure.
And you just take it, they're a little round, and you put them on the bottom, they last longer.
Mhm.
You tape them on so they stay on, and because the thing about those tennis balls, by the way, is they wear out pretty quick,
Right.
especially if you take this outside.
right.
I mean,
We
that's-
should tell them why they even put the balls or the felt on there.
Why do they put the balls of felt on?
Because if you don't, they squeak and they
Oh,
chatter and they make all kinds of noise and it's a little harder to push them.
Yeah.
I mean, this is moving nice and smooth and quiet. If I did not do that, had the regular feet from the factory, they chatter and they squeak and it's just very obnoxious, actually.
Where this would be the worst walker to use might be if you do a lot of outdoor walking.
Right.
Because the wheels are not that big. You know, they're, if you look at, can we compare them, Brad?
Sure. Wheel to wheel.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. You down there, Bob?
I got there.
Now, this is a 5-inch wheel, which is a big wheel
For a
this type of
walker,
When you
exactly.
go to the 4-wheeled walker, you go to 5, 6, 7, and I think some of them have 8 inches, but I
That
don't-
looks like 8.
yeah, so the bigger the wheel, the better it's gonna be on uneven, rough surface.
And also the fact that you have 4 of them, it's going to go over better on the rough surfaces, whereas you got that tennis ball in the back, and that's going to be, if you're on a asphalt or sidewalk, you're going to be catching every little bump.
Right, and those tennis balls wear out really quick on the concrete.
Yeah. So if you do a lot of outdoor walking, that's gonna be the worst walker for you. Let's keep going with the four-wheel walker now, Brad.
Sure. These have just become very popular. Right now it's 2014, and I would say in the last 5 years, these have become a lot more popular and the price has dropped
Right,
dramatically.
exactly, because that was probably one of the worst things about it was the price. The other thing that's bad about this is it's not real mobile. If you have to take this and put it in your car,
Oh,
you want to show Brad how that even
Right.
works?
You go like this, and they're typically pretty darn heavy.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to have someone with a weak
And
back.
if you
or-
compare that to this one that folds up, you know, and you know, you can almost lift it with one finger.
Right, you can just slip that in between the back and the front
Right,
seat easily.
exactly.
With this one, it's a little bit of a fight. A lot of times you just put it in the trunk or.
And this is,
SUV.
I have to be honest, this is exactly the instance my mom is dealing with right now. We gave her both of these walkers, but I prefer she take this one to church, but she can't bring it into her car.
Sure.
She still drives herself.
Right.
So she actually has to take one that's lesser, and of course it doesn't work as well on the sidewalk.
Right.
The other positive thing about this, why it's not the worst walker, maybe the best walker for some people, is the seat.
Right.
If you get tired when you're walking and you want to go long distances, you get out, you go going for a walk, you go down the block, and all of a sudden you get tired.
Yeah. You put the brakes on, of course, but lock them, and you have to sit down and you take a break.
Yeah, and you can't do that with any of the other two walkers. So in that instance, especially if you have cardiac issues, this is the best walker to use, and these would be the worst ones to use,
Right.
because you'd be stuck with these. The brakes obviously are a nice feature too, because it's going to stay in place when you put it there. It's not going to roll away on you.
Right.
Anything else, Brad, that you like about these? Got the nice basket.
Right. Right, the nice basket here, you can go to the store and put some things in the store. These work great, I should go right across the lawn. You're not gonna go across the lawn with
Yeah.
these walkers, but this one, unless you got big holes in the lawn, but a typically halfway decent lawn, this will go across okay.
Yeah, my mom actually uses this to do her laundry too. She's in an apartment building, and she puts all of her laundry in the basket and the supplies, and then she just pushes it down the
Sure.
hallway. Another thing that makes this the worst one though is you do have to have better balance for this, don't
Right.
you, Brad?
Right, I'd say the two things that kind of work with that is, that's what I say, people say, oh, I don't like it because it's
Yeah.
too fast.
It's like a shopping cart. It's going to go in 4 directions at once.
Right.
It rolls well, but it rolls well in all directions. So
Right, so it can be too fast. The other thing is, the person has to have a good cognition so they understand how to use the brakes.
Right.
Sometimes
Yeah.
people don't understand, the older people, if they have some problems with their memory, they don't remember to put the brakes on, or they don't remember to use them properly, and that's a safety issue, because if you
Yeah.
don't brake, and they try to sit down without braking it,
exactly,
it's a
down they
fall.
go. Exactly.
Yes.
So, and that, this walker with the front wheels does not require as much balance as this one does. So in this instance, it'd be the worst walker if you have bad balance
Right.
than in this instance.
Right.
And you can put little baskets on this, as you can see.
Sure.
Carry,
You
not as
better
much,
believe
but
it.
you can carry stuff. Anything else, Brad? Anything
Well,
else I'm missing?
The cost on that, these now, I've seen people get them for as low as $160.
I think Walmart carries them.
Yeah, it may not be the best quality, you gotta look at it first,
Yeah.
but, anywhere between 160 to 250, you're gonna get a
These
real
are not
nice-
cheap either.
No, these, I think,
When you get these with wheels, like a decent 5-inch wheel,
Yep.
they're not
it's
inexpensive.
120,
Yeah,
130.
120, 130.
It's
so-
amazing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
between these two, you'd think that the price of this would have came down too, but
Right.
it hasn't, so. All right, if you haven't already, please subscribe to us. We're gonna give you a lot of helpful hints on how to stay healthy and fit from 40 and beyond.
Right?
And if not for you, do it for your mom or dad if they're still alive, or your grandma and grandpa, because we're gonna help them out too, and you're gonna become the favorite son or grandson, or granddaughter, or daughter.
You better
because
believe
You're
it.
gonna give them hints. Peace.